Hello, welcome to the Well of Being. I'm Melissa Laborsky, MD. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into the concept of divine masculine and divine feminine and why we're being called and how we're being called to come to a place of oneness, alignment, and unity with these concepts that seem like they're so disparate. I'm going to be interweaving this video with channeled messages and light language to help activate both of these concepts and support us coming into alignment. So the most important thing that I want to start off with is that divine masculine doesn't mean just male. It includes male, but it doesn't mean just male. Divine feminine doesn't mean just female. It includes female, but it doesn't mean just female. We all embody the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So when I speak about unifying these concepts, I don't just mean like in relationship, men and women coming together. I mean about the relationship of that within yourself. These energies, these expressions within your own experience of living an embodied life on earth. So seeing that, yes, male is an aspect of the divine masculine can inform and help you to understand the concept, and the same thing goes for female. However, we don't want to get too stuck in the construct. These are, again, experiences and expressions that are embodied within every human being on this planet. So one of the things that I think is fascinating is that there's this whole gender neutrality, this whole gender shift that's been going on the planet, and part of it is because in truth we are both. We are all expressions of possibility. So that external way of shifting our consciousness does help to support opening at a deeper level to this connection of, oh wow, I may have taken a female form, but I am the divine masculine and I am the divine feminine. So you'll also hear me using the words alpha when I refer to divine masculine and omega when I refer to the divine feminine. So I'll be interchanging those. When we think about the concept of the divine masculine, it is this energy of like penetrating the world, planting your seed into the world, and moving forward and developing in that very clear, visible way. Like this, like the sword. When we think about the divine feminine, there's this more expansive, flowy, creative, like I am the energy that is creating the foundation for what that energy is bringing to the visible. I am the energy that's nurturing the seeds that have been planted, literally the vessel and the womb for those seeds that have been planted, bringing in all of these invisible forces that will allow us to create. So they cannot really exist. They express themselves in these separate ways, but they need each other to be in their fullest expression. They need each other to be in their fullest expression in this life. So speaking more about this concept of being in that alpha energy, so that can be when you're in this place of like, get it done, and do. I am in this very directed, like, don't get in my way. How dare you call me when I'm in this place? And it's like, I'm saying that kind of intensely, but it's like when you're really, 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 really on. And it's not just in ways that you may think of as being traditionally masculine. Like this can be how you're being a kick-ass mom in your home and you're like, I'm getting shit done, I got the kitchen cleaned, I got all the lunches made for tomorrow, I helped them with their homework, and now we're having hangout time. And there is this very like energy, this guided, contained energy, like the energy is being intensely channeled in order to get things done. So if we were to shift over to this concept of the divine feminine, as she might be manifesting and be like, I'm in this state of openness and I'm connecting into the infinite possibility and I'm aligning to the right time and the right space, and I will know. The masculine very much has this like this schedule and this agenda of like, it's happening now. And the divine feminine's like, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. There might be something else that comes in and it creates a redirection and it shifts the timeline. We'll see. So I just was shown like another perspective, this, I'm speaking about it at the human level. If we were to look at how planet Earth plays out, divine masculine and divine feminine energies in this way, we could look at the structure of the seasons, right? So, we've got this Father Earth energy that's like, all right, this is what we have. This is the timeline of when, we have winter, spring, summer, fall, and then we have these alignments with the moon, and we have the alignments with the sun, and we have the solstice, and we have the equinox. We've got this structure. We have this structure. And divine feminine's like, yes, we do have the structure. I celebrate the structure. We have festivals around the structure. And every single season's going to be different, because every single season is going to be impacted by so many different factors. It's going to be impacted by the energies that are here on planet Earth. It's going to be impacted by the energies in the greater universe. It's going to be impacted by all different aspects that influence planetary life. So every single spring, summer, fall, winter is going to look and feel different, because there's infinite creativity that's within the structure and the framework. So that's a beautiful way of seeing it. That we need both together, that both are naturally functioning together all the time. So what has happened is, these are forces that look like they're in, opposition or in duality, but as I've been describing, in a natural state, they're interweaving and they're supporting each other all the time. So there's this dynamic connection that, like, in order for the seasons to fully show up in their fullness, they do need that structure and alignment that we've created. So both are necessary to have the container and to have the fullness of infinite possibility being expressed. So as with forces that are in a state of oneness and are at one level appear to be in opposition, one of the things that we've experienced on Earth as embodied beings is polarity. Polarity, the concept of polarity, of like, we're all divine masculine and we're moving forward and we're bulldozing through it, versus we're just in this open state of infinite possibility, waiting for the right time and space for alignment. So this energy I'm just also seeing is like, that let's building America, like way back to the founding fathers, and that energy of literally like taking America by storm, and obviously all the things that are in that, and colonialism and all of those intense energies. Being too far in polarity, you're missing, but what about what's here? What about the elements that are here, the natives that are here? What if we could work in a place that, if we were really, when we were in that place, what if there, and I know that there were expressions of this that happened, what if we were in a place of cooperation and collaboration instead of like plowing through that natural expression that existed? So what has happened is, that's kind of an extreme example looking at colonialism, but in general, we've become very, 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 very alpha. Not just in America, but just the whole human of like doing, taking action. I don't care, what's happening in any other aspect of your life. I don't care what's happening in the stars. We're gonna do. Woo! That was a big one. Clearing. So that doing. So this is showing up everywhere. This is showing up in the structure of governments. This is showing up in our school systems. This is showing up in the workforce. This is showing up in the home life. This is showing up in how we orient to ourselves. So I'm gonna deepen in and just like share my own example. So I had the experience of a lot of trauma growing up and I didn't know how to deal with it. But one of the things that I found is that I do have this incredible divine masculine alpha way of being like, I'm gonna channel all my energy into moving forward. Like, I don't know what to do with all of that deep emotional stuff right now. But what I do know is I know how to do well in school. You give me a goal and I'm gonna like go 100 miles beyond it. So I pulled myself through life until I got to the point where that framework literally started to fall apart, because what was over here that wasn't being addressed and seen, my deeper emotional and my connection to my divine feminine self, was just like, we can't hold this anymore. So that example in me is also a sign, that's what's happening here. That's what's happening here. So this is not sustainable to constantly be in this place of the masculine holding the container, pushing forward, ignoring everything else that's going on, pushing forward. That's not sustainable. For so many different reasons, it's not sustainable. So it's collapsing. And it's collapsing in some really violent and intense ways because the structure feels safe. So the same thing, if I were to go on a personal level, like as I started to see that like, wow, I need to drop this container and open up to this deeper level of what's going on inside of myself and what other connections are out there. It's like, fuck, like what? I'm safe in here. This is what I know. I'm really good at this. And that's the other thing too. It's like, I'm really good at getting things done. I'm really good at meeting other people's goals and objectives, but I don't know anything about this other mysterious and like the emotional side. Like, what if I get stuck in there? So it can feel, that's part of what we're having too, is that the container, that alpha drive, can't go on in this way singularly. I'm not saying the alpha is not going away. That's not what this is about. This isn't like, we need to do away, I'm kicking with alpha, and we only need to be in omega. No, but this has been too much. We have to come to center, and that's gonna require, it already has, and I'm gonna get to that in a moment, this resurgence of the divine feminine so that we can bring in this integration. So part of, like, the container's just gonna collapse. It's already collapsing, right? Period. But we could get stuck just being like trying to create a new container, right? And it's possible. It's possible that we'll just create a new way to just keep moving forward, but we're missing so much of life, and literally planet Earth isn't gonna tolerate it. So this new expanded Earth that we're in is really demanding us to come to this place of divine integration, and move forward from there, in that place of divine integration. So another piece of getting stuck, and again, as I'm saying these words, realize that yes, it's at the global scale, but it's very much at the interpersonal too, is that as the container starts to collapse and fall away and disintegrate, we may get scared. Like I was saying, it's like, I don't know if I can handle all of that, or that I even want to go there, and how do I go there, and what is all of this? And it's overwhelming. So a lot of what I've been diving into in these videos is the reality that all these containers and layers and walls are collapsing and falling away, and that we are becoming more aware of that infinite possibility that's all around us because it is there, it's always been there. And we have to align in order to be able to find our new way forward in life. So this is one way where we're being called to align, is to recognize the concept of how we approach through the divine masculine, how we approach through the divine feminine, and allowing ourselves to integrate. Again, that divine integration. Lots of clearing. Woo! So I had a lovely reflection in the comments of one of my videos that, yawning while she was tuning in. So all these physical things that you may start to experience, especially when you're tuning into something that has so many dynamic activations, it's all good. So that throat clearing, because I am using my voice to speak about some pretty intense topics right now. So let's step over into this divine feminine place. So what does the divine feminine, I know I'm doing this very like goddessy fairy thing, because she's like, I love this. I love to move like this and flow like this and be like this, and I don't care about your timeline because it's all good, right? It's this really flowy place. But does that mean like, oh shit, does it mean if I'm in this really flowy place, then I'm not getting shit done? That like if it's a household, that the household falls apart? No, it does not mean that. It does not mean that. And that's because of the divine integration. And what I would say, what I'm hearing is that the divine feminine, they're in relationship. So literally she's like informing the divine masculine on how to take action. Like, hey, let's channel here. But because the divine feminine is so aligned and so connected within into everything happening around here. So if we were to look at the concept of a household, like tuned in to all the kiddos and all the places there are, like you're gonna know, like, okay, I know we had directed our path that we were going to have dinner at 6 o'clock, and the divine feminine is like, that's not going to align. If we try to force that to happen, we may create a lot of chaos, versus I'm hearing that 7:30 would be better, that there's other things that are gonna need our attention between now and then. So that new information that's coming in through the divine feminine can inform the guidance of the divine masculine. And he's like, all right, okay, I'm with you. We can do that. We can work together on this. And I'm doing this very playfully, but yeah, there's gonna be times where it's like, dinner's at 6. I don't care what you're saying, dinner's at 6. So, and this is happening within you, because you are gonna feel these little like relationship battles that are almost like external battles of like, no, I can't change it. I can't change it. This was our plan. I'm meeting people. I've got other things I have to do. And divine feminine's like, okay, so you go ahead and you keep with that schedule, but we'll see what happens. And then you're like, yes, I won. So let's say you push through and you have dinner at 6, but then it created all these meltdowns, and then it collapses the schedule for the rest of the night because you have to deal with all the things that came up. Now, the divine everything goes, there are no accidents. So no matter what path you choose, everything always unfolds as it's meant to, and we learn our lessons and we find our new path. But we are being called to this higher level of like, we don't have to constantly be in a battle, right? I'd say that what we've had, not all of us, of course, because there's many of us that have been tuning into these energies for a long time, but there's been a lot of fighting on the outside and on the inside with these two energies. Like they can't coexist, but they do coexist. They do coexist. So what we're being called to in this place of heaven on earth is this dynamic integration, this divine integration that allows continuous communication between the Omega divine feminine, who's taking in all of this wonderful wisdom all around and feeling into the energies and the emotions that are going on, and the divine masculine that can hold the space, the container for taking things to a visible level and creating and manifesting. So, woo! So I'm gonna drop in and allow some channeled messages and activation to come out around divine integration of our masculine and feminine aspects of being. Baran sutai utar intikir atakai. Antar unsutikar itiki tikantar itiki atakar. I sekete takatata yara tukatun yara kitatan yara tukatata takatatatia takatatia 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 takatatai. Hai takatan yara tukatia takatatia 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 yara tukutiti takatatia takati takatatia. Unda tia takatatia takatai sekatan yara tiki. Unsadatia la watsaki baratiki. Dai salai la manai la it's a colai la it's a calalo la ala it's a catania la roots a caloa la it's a kila lawa. Ayala it's a calalo la it's a kia la Zandia Satya Kar Ntai. So really allowing yourself to, this has been a very playful way that this wanted to be expressed. And I think that lightness wanted to come in because it can be so charged. So allowing yourself to play with these concepts within yourself first, and then begin practicing them. And it will just happen naturally and organically. So really it's tuning in and being aware of, wow, you know, I really saw myself, like the divine masculine was way in charge here, and I can see where I was missing all of these other signals that were trying to guide me to shift my course. So, and then the times where it's like, wow, I was so in the flow. I was just divinely guided and there was nothing but magic and time disappeared. So that's like, you want to build a relationship with these different aspects of you, and that will support you. Like the integration is going to happen through connection, awareness, and communication that comes from within. And then literally you can see how as you shift your inner relationship dynamics around the divine masculine and divine feminine, how does that shift your relationship dynamics to everyone in your life? Whether it's your partner, in the workforce, in relationships, as you start to become aware and conscious of these different energies and ways of being that are happening. Not that you're gonna stop people and like try to control in a very alpha way, like, you're so in your divine masculine right now, or you're so out there in your divine feminine. No, it's not like that at all. It's like, oh wow, you know, just like you would notice, like the sun is coming out right now, you know, it's just like shifts in the energy. Becoming more aware and conscious will allow you to build the relationship connection and get to that place of integration where you can flow as you need to flow in such a way where it just becomes your way of being. So let's allow some more light language to come through. And I think movement too. Ayana katia tikatanya takatatia katatia tikataya tikatia tikataya tikati. Ayata katanya raditike tikatatia tikatatia takatia tikatai. Artikatian tikataya tikati. Alakate natiki tikatanya tikatinya radi tikatia tikata. Thank Thank you for joining me today. I don't think we're done with this. There was a beautiful card reading that ended up, I didn't even know it was going to end up being about divine masculine and divine feminine. You can tune into. And I also have an extended download that came through around embodying the divine masculine and feminine, in particular around sacred sensuality, that you can check out on wellofbeing.love. Till next time.